a lot of people want something like STRC. They want something that stays stable, appreciates at debasement levels or higher, so that they can store their value. Like that is one of the functions of money, right? We always talk about store of value, medium of exchange, unit of account. Well, STRC is functioning as a store of value for people that believe in Bitcoin but don't want the volatility of Bitcoin for whatever reason.
Is that today?
This is today,
Yeah.
man. And yesterday, they also, one thing I didn't mention in my video was they also are now able to sell shares pre-market and post-market as well. So it's going to be crazy.
I saw a comment from Adam Livingston on one of my posts. He was saying how they're actually selling 2 shares of MSTR for every share of STRC, just to keep their leverage at a certain level, like the amplification at a certain level. And because of that, they're actually buying 3 times as much Bitcoin as whatever you see here every day. So today, they probably bought something like 4,000 Bitcoin. 4,000 Bitcoin. That's absolutely insane. But then something else that kind of makes me a little concerned is the fact that the price really isn't moving much. So that just means that a lot of people are giving away their Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. So like the 8K of that was released on Monday shows how much STRC was issued and how much MSTR was issued, and it was I think like $900 million of MSTR to 377 million of STRC. So it's just above a third, just below a half kind of thing, which is really crazy. And that's a really interesting way to put it, is to use the issuance of STRC and the volumes that you can see above the 100 as a metric to say, well, there's going to be, 2 to 3 times as much MSTR issued. And this is in a sort of a down market of Bitcoin, that there's still like MSTR. The issuance of that really works when there's a lot of positive sentiment around Bitcoin and MSTR, because it's amplified Bitcoin. It's used as a trading vehicle for Bitcoin. And that's not the environment we're in. And they're still able to issue $900 million of MSTR in 1 week. So that equity is still working for what they use it for, which is raising capital at a premium to their Bitcoin holdings. And then they have this STRC thing, which was totally designed to be used in a bear market. It's to be where people want stable income, and then they're able to use that in that bear market and acquire more Bitcoin cheaply. And it's firing at levels we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just want to say, because I also saw that on Adam Livingston's channel. I saw his YouTube post, his YouTube video, and then it didn't click for me. I didn't understand what he meant, and I had actually today Dan Hillary on, and he explained to me in depth what this means. So strategy does not want to go over 30% amplification, because if you don't do the buys on the strategy side, only on Stretch's side, at some point Stretch will make up like 100% of strategy. And so whenever they do it on the Stretch side, they also have to do it on the strategy side to keep the amplification right around 30%. That's kind of their own guidance, to keep it at the 30% mark, which was very interesting to hear, because this means if we have a day like today and they are buying about 1,500 Bitcoin just with Stretch, they're buying like 4,000 Bitcoin. And just to put that into context, we are mining about 450 Bitcoin a day. And up until, I made the calculation to be exact, up until Monday, they bought on average in 2026 974 Bitcoin per day. 974 Bitcoin in 2026. The whole 2026 we had so far, they bought 974 Bitcoin per day. And so they bought like 2.1x of the daily new mining supply, which is just like absolutely crazy in a downwards market with low sentiment, with low premiums and all of that. Man, that machine will accumulate Bitcoin like crazy once we are ripping through like 150, 200K like that. This will be this will go down in history. People will make movies around that stock. I can already tell you.
And people were thinking that strategy is going to collapse.
Yeah,
You learn.
like a week
You learn
ago.
last bear market. You know, like
Yeah.
your first one, you get, you know, you kind of pucker up a little bit, and you're like, oh, maybe I made the wrong choice.
Yeah.
But he's been through a bear already. Like he was in the drop. I mean, my very first Bitcoin conference was, I just happened to get a VIP pass to Pacific Bitcoin. I was sitting next to Sailor for like multiple presentations. We were just sitting there in the front row on one of the sofas together. It's like chatting. He'd always, like, someone made a comment the other day laughing about, I think it was Strategy World. Whenever you see him, he's just like on a laptop somewhere. He's just always like pecking away on his laptop, just like whatever. And that's exactly what he was doing. So this is late 2022. He's just pecking away on his laptop. He's just sitting there, like his legs folded, just like watching the presentations. And we're just like chatting about whatever. I mean, half of it wasn't even about Bitcoin. We're just like, you know, shooting the shit, right? And they're like, you know, because at the time, no one, there was only 1,000 people there, and you know, he was a big player, obviously, but no one, he wasn't like he is now, right? So it's just funny looking back, and in that market, he was calm. He was calm then. I mean, like, just seeing him around a bunch of Bitcoiners, he was very calm, very cool and collected. You would never know, but I'm sure at some point you kind of like, you pucker, because that was the week, November, Pacific Bitcoin was the FTX drop. So that was like down to like the 15 handle, 16 or whatever it was. And so it's, you know, at some point he was still calm, but you know, at some point he's kind of like, oh boy, this is fascinating. What's going on here? But now he's just primed and pumped. He's ready to go. And he knows exactly, they know, I mean, strategy, they know, they've been prepping for this. They've been building these products. It's truly wild. It opens up other discussions, which again, Forrest, your video was great. Just kind of going around the different, you know, whether, you know, being a shit coin, like all these things, right? And you have to label it what it is, but still has a place in the world, obviously. And it's could, you know, so anyway, it's fascinating. Very fascinating.
I want to ask you guys, do you guys still feel a little nervous during the bear markets? I think I still feel it a bit, but over time, I'm just getting more and more confident. I feel like now when I feel very nervous, that's when I buy. And if I feel that way, I know, okay, eventually the price is going to turn around. Think about the fundamentals. It'll come back.
Is this your first bear market, Rajat?
My first bear market owning, yeah, because I converted. I owned stocks back then, right? I was only buying small amounts. Like this bear market, I bought more than I did when Bitcoin was 15K, which is crazy because you could have bought what 5 times more back then with the same amount of money. So I was scared then, but now I feel like I'm getting more and more confident. But talking to you guys, like like the Maple Bitcoin stuff, talking to you, being on Robin's podcast, being on Brandon's podcast, it really helps.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and someone just said, like, you know, you guys being confident about MicroStrategy makes me worry. I'm confident long term.
I just
like I'm confident long term. Who knows what could happen? MicroStrategy could get cut in half again. We could go down to 40, you know, on Bitcoin, whatever. But this is the thing. Like when you go to a Bitcoin conference, when you're around Bitcoin, this is why we do what we do. This is why we do our podcast. This is why we do our channels. This is why we do these live streams. And we, you know, Bitcoiners are collaborating much more now, because at the end of the day, that's what Bitcoin is. It's a community of people that believe the same thing, going the same direction. I talk a lot about the founding of America. This is what people did. They get Lexington Concord. They got together and they're like, hey, the British are coming and I think they're taking our weapons cache. And we're like, no, they're not. Like, you have to come through us. And that's exactly what Bitcoiners are doing now. So what I'm trying to say with all this is I'm very, very extremely bullish long term. You go through these swings. In 2017, you know, 2018 is when I got in. You go through these ups and downs. And you have to remind yourself that there's it's either per year or cycle. One of you guys, I'm sure, knows, but like there's only like 10 up days per year, you know, like the real up days, right? Where the explosive move comes, or it's per cycle. So you live majority of your life in, you know, like sideways or like deficit almost. And so you have to get very good at handling those emotions and the objections that are going to come your way, because most of your life is lived in that world until we get to this hyper Bitcoinization moment. And this is where like long term, you know, MicroStrategy, everything they're doing, massively bullish. You know, the fundamentals haven't changed. They've never been stronger. And when you look at like the actual privacy tech that we actually have, the protocols, the tools, never been better in Bitcoin. Never. I mean, and even the average Bitcoiner doesn't even know this. That's what's really wild. I was talking to, you know, Nathan and Ben from BTC Sessions and you know, BTC Mentor. The things that they, you know, you watch the tutorials and a lot of stuff you guys do too. You watch all these videos and you're like, oh my gosh, like the tools that are out there, people just don't even know about. And just this simple FUD that's just like, it just goes on without anyone even coming against it. You know, again, it's just, when people wake up to Bitcoin mining politically and how it cleans up the environment actually, or hey, you want privacy, Monero boys, or whatever it is, it's all on Bitcoin. If you want it, it is there right now today. And that's the thing that's frustrating for us. But when people as the stupid shit keeps happening in the world, people will wake up to this one day at a time. So it's an ever, one foot in front of the other, and it just, like clockwork, they eat their words. We come back out of the bear market and people are sitting there like, oh, I guess I was wrong. Got to do homework next time.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is a roller coaster, right? And if you use that analogy of Bitcoin's price being a roller coaster and bring it to the real world, you could have ridden every coaster in the world. You're still physically going to feel the ups and downs when you're moving. So that's how I feel from this price action is, yeah, I feel it, but I'm sort of detached from it. I'm not like reacting to it. And because I can feel it, it's what you said as well, Rajat, where that's almost a signal of, okay, now is a good time to buy, because I do still feel that volatility, but it doesn't make me get sick anymore. Like, a first time roller coaster rider might do, right? But yeah, that's the way I see Bitcoin's price action.
Maybe that's a thumbnail for next week. All of us on a roller coaster barfing.
Yeah.
I like it.
Like the Sandlot. I mean, it's the same thing for me too. Like 2021, I left my job, left my career that I spent a lot of time building, and it was a big risk. 2021 it was ripping upwards. I thought it was never going to come back down. I was like, I don't need a job anymore. I got Bitcoin here, and I was humbled pretty quick. 2022, after quitting my job, moving out here, I had a lot of soul searching to do. Truly, like I wasn't fully knowledge-wise where I am today, and I was questioning things. But now, having survived that, because I put in the work to understand the intricacies of Bitcoin, now it's exactly like you said, Forrest. It's like I feel it, but it's a little bit different now. It's more my ego than my concern for Bitcoin, and it's one of those things where I now know that, like, I don't have any concerns over Bitcoin. I don't. There's a couple things short-term here and there that come up, and I'm like, oh, is that worth looking into? But like, this thing's going to be here. There's every signal, every metric that I look at long term, there's no doubt in my mind that Bitcoin's going to be around. And so you just got to kind of look inward and say, okay, well, if that's the case, then I've already won. I just got to protect what I have now.
Which is most of the battle, right? I mean, like, you look at like Warren Buffett, which, he said a lot of dumb things in life. He's also a smart guy, IQ wise, but it's like, patience is the name of the game in investing. And when you have the winner and you've done the homework and the properties haven't changed. And that's the thing. Like, if it stays decentralized and secure, if it does what it's promised to do every day, you wake up and it's doing the same thing every day and has not changed until or unless that changes, then the thesis changes. But nothing has changed. In 17 years, that has not changed. And so people get shaken out. You get emotional, you get tired, you get bored. I mean, look at how many people, like the Vitalics or like the different people over time, they got bored. Like, oh, it's not fast enough. It's, I can't do. Well, you're not thinking it from the right angle. You're thinking it's a tech company. Like, we're going to go like, it's money. It's a protocol off the existing system, and it's going to take its time. Gold took hundreds of years, thousands of years to insert itself. And here we are 17 years in, and presidents of the world are talking about it. I mean, it's going in light speed if you just zoom out at the end of the day.
I think I know what Brandon was talking about before, and I was searching for the exact numbers because I find it crazy. And the study is from S&P 500, and it's a long study. They did it over 20 years, and they did the thing where over 20 years there was 5,000 trading days, and if you missed the 10 best days, your returns were cut in half. And that's how I look at it in Bitcoin. I think in Bitcoin, it's probably even more extreme because Bitcoin is more volatile. So in Bitcoin, it will be probably even more extreme where when you miss the 10 best days, it's probably like 70% less returns. I don't know.
You end up negative. If you if you miss the 10 days, I know the study that you're talking about. It's negative. It's crazy.
Oh gosh, it's negative then. If you miss the 10 best days, it's like a negative return. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wild.
And so this reminds you, like, it's just a DCA long-term patient game. That's what it all comes down. And I think most people are not made for it.